Before the world woke up, a small village rested quietly under the soft glow of dawn. And in one of its wooden houses, a young boy named Arun dreamed bigger than the hills that surrounded him. Every morning, he sat by the same window, eyes fixed on a single shining point in the sky, the morning star. To others it was nothing special, but to him, it felt like a promise waiting to be understood. He filled pages of his worn notebook with sketches of that star, believing it held a meaning only he could feel. Dreams were his compass, even if no one else could read the map. But dreams often invite doubt. The villagers would smile, shake their heads, and call him foolish. "No one reaches a star," they said. "You're chasing the impossible." And yet, one quiet dawn, Arun stepped beyond the village with only a small bag and a heart full of hope. He didn't know where the star would lead, only that he had to follow. But the world beyond his home was larger, darker, and far more demanding than he imagined. Even sunlight struggled to reach through the forest canopy. Still he walked, until exhaustion struck. He tripped, fell, and watched his belongings scatter across the cold ground. For the first time, doubt whispered louder than hope. Maybe the villagers were right. Then, from the shadows, a lantern flickered. An elderly man stepped forward, silent, calm, carrying a light that felt warmer than the forest sun. "Why do you sit alone?" the old man asked. Arun explained his journey, his dream, and his fear that he'd never reach the star. The old man listened, truly listened. Then he said quietly, "My boy, stars aren't meant to be caught. They are meant to guide." His voice was gentle, but it carried the weight of a lifetime. And with those words, Arun felt strength return to him. Not from certainty, but from clarity. He stood once more, ready to continue a journey he finally understood. He traveled through rain and wind, heat and cold, across rivers, fields, and mountains. Each season tested him, and each one shaped him, until one morning, he reached a high mountain peak. The morning star shimmered above the clouds, still far, yet closer than ever, and Arun realized the truth. He was no longer the boy who wanted to touch the star. He had become someone guided, shaped by its light. When he returned home, the villagers looked at him with quiet awe, not because he reached the star, but because the journey had changed him into someone they could no longer dismiss. Children gathered beneath the village tree, sitting close to hear his stories. Arun smiled and pointed toward the fading morning star. "Dreams," he said, "aren't destinations. They are directions." And as the sun lifted over the horizon, Arun whispered the lesson that stayed with him forever. You may never touch your star, but if you follow it, you'll become the person you were meant to be.